Welcome to Tungal Online Classes. Today we are going to discuss a new topic, that is magnetic force on current carrying wire. Magnetic force on current carrying wire. In the last lecture we discussed the magnetic force acting on the charged particle. The magnetic force acting on the charged particle which was entered into the region which is given by F bar is equal to what? Q into V bar cross B bar. And also we discuss about the Lorentz force. What is meant by Lorentz force? The resultant force experienced by the charged particle. Resultant force experienced by the charged particle due to the both magnetic field as well as the electric field. Such type of force is nothing but Lorentz force we call, right? Now we are going to derive the expression for force acting on the current carrying wire. Force acting on the current carrying wire. So for that we consider here AB is indicating a current carrying wire. AB is indicating what? A current carrying wire. I is the amount of current is flowing through the conducting wire. I is the amount of current is flowing through the conducting wire, and B, capital B is indicating the magnetic field. Capital B is indicating what? Magnetic field. And L is the length of the conductor. L is the length of the conductor. And theta is angle between the length of the conductor and the given magnetic field. Theta is indicating what? Angle between the length of the conductor as well as the direction of the magnetic field. Direction of the what? Magnetic field. So here, what we consider here? So we consider AB. AB is a current carrying conductor. What we consider here? AB is a what? A current carrying conductor. And whose length is also mentioned by small l. And for the given current carrying conductor, it is having some area of cross section. So I am assuming that capital A is indicating the area of cross section of the wire. Area of cross section of the wire. So capital A will be assuming as a what? Area of cross section of the wire. So what my aim is, due to the magnetic field, I want to calculate the total force acting along the length of the given wire. I want to calculate the total force acting along the total length of the wire. So before going to calculating the total force acting along the complete length of the wire, so I consider a small portion of the length. I consider a small portion of the length whose the length will be taken as the dl. So instead of calculating the entire force is acting on the entire length of the conductor, so along the length of the conductor I consider a small element whose the length is equal to what? dl. So what we consider here? We consider a small element. We consider what? Small element whose length will be taken as what? dl. Whose length will be taken as what? dl. Now in the current electricity topic we discuss about the concept of drift velocity. In which topic we discuss? Current electricity, drift velocity. How can we define the drift velocity? So whenever at the ends of the conductor, when you apply a sufficient potential difference, current will be flowing through the conductor. So if you assume the current is flowing from A to B, in the opposite direction of the flow of the current, all the free electrons are moving with a constant velocity. Such velocity is nothing but drift velocity. How can we define the drift velocity? The average velocity acquired by the free electrons by the application of a constant potential difference across the length of the conductor. Such type of velocity is called what? Drift velocity. Which velocity? Drift velocity. So I am assuming that the drift velocity will be the drift velocity of each electron. The drift velocity of each free electron is equal to what we are assuming? V suffix D. So what we assume here first? We consider a small element dl. We consider what? A small element dl. While the current is flowing through the length of the conductor, while the current is flowing through the length of the conductor, all the free electrons will be drifted opposite to the direction of the flow of the current, and whose drift velocity will be represented by V suffix d. V suffix d. Now, I am assuming that small n. I am assuming what? Small n. So, what is the small n? It is also we discuss in the derivation of the drift velocity. Here, small n is indicating the number of free electrons. Small n is indicating what? Number of free electrons present. Number of free electrons present in unit volume. So, what is the small n is indicating that? Small n is indicating the number of free electrons present in the unit volume of the conductor. Unit volume of the conductor. Now, actually what we are going to discuss, I want to calculate the net force acting on the small element dl, the net force acting along the small element dl due to the magnetic field. My aim is what? First I want to calculate the net force acting along the small element dl due to the magnetic field. For that purpose, we know the general formula for the force. What is the force formula? F bar is equal to Q into V bar cross B bar. This formula we derived. F bar is a what? Force experienced by the charged particle. Force experienced by the charged particle. You have to know. And V means what? Drift velocity, and the magnetic field you know. So, to calculate the force, we have to calculate the amount of the charge present in the small element dl. Small element dl. So, for that purpose, what we assume here, small n is indicating what? Number of free electrons per unit volume. Now, I want to write volume of small element dl. I want to write volume of small element dl. See here, the length of the small element is equal to dl. The length of the small element is equal to what? dl. And the area of cross section will be remains constant. Area of cross section of the conducting wire is a what? Constant. So therefore, volume of the small element is equal to area into dl. Area into dl. Volume of the small element is equal to what? A into dl. So here n is indicating what? Number of free electrons present in the volume, unit volume. N is indicating what? Number of free electrons present in the unit volume. If you consider the small element, what is the volume of the small element? Volume of the small element is equal to A into dl. Therefore, number of free electrons present in the volume of A into dl is so n is indicating what? Number of free electrons present per unit volume. N is indicating what? Number of free electrons present per unit volume. In a volume of A into dl, the number of free electrons is equal to n into A into dl. N into A into dl. Once again say, we consider the small element dl. We consider what? A small element dl. So, in that small element, all the free electrons are drifted with the drift velocity of V suffix d. And what we assume here, small n. What is a small m denotes? Small n is denoting that the number of free electrons present per unit volume. So here actually what you consider? You consider the small element dl. So dl is indicating what? Length of the small element, and the area of cross section of the conducting wire is equal to what? Capital A. So the volume of the small element I wrote, the volume of the small element is equal to area into length. Area value A, length of the element is equal to what? DL. So the volume of the small element is equal to how much? A into DL. Now what I want to write? I want to write how many number of free electrons, are present, how many number of free electrons are present. I want to write the how many number of free electrons are present in the volume of small element, So, the number of free electrons present in the volume of small element ADL is N into ADL. Now, coming to the charge. Charge present in the element DL. So, what I want to write? To calculate the force, what value I needed to calculate the force? Amount of the charge was needed. So that I want to calculate the amount of the charge present in the DL element. So therefore, charge dq is equal to, charge dq was assuming for the small element, dq is equal to, how many number of free electrons are there here? Number of free electrons is equal to NaDl. Number of free electrons is equal to what? NaDl. So the charge is equal to number of free electrons, magnitude of the charge is equal to, what? E. Charge of the electron is equal to what? Small e. So finally I got the amount of the charge, which was present in the small element DL. The amount of the charge present in the small element is given by dq is equal to N into A into DL into E, right? Now I want to write the expression for force acting on the element DL. So force acting on the element DL. Due to the magnetic field. So from the relation, F bar is equal to Q into V bar cross B bar. F bar is equal to, what is the standard formula? F bar is equal to Q into V bar cross B bar. I am taking the force as dF bar. What? dF bar. dF bar is equal to charge value dq into all the electrons are moving with the velocity, same velocity called drift velocity. All the electrons are moving with what velocity? Drift velocity. So, the amount of the force acting on the small element DL by the given magnetic field is given by dF bar is equal to dq into Vd bar cross B bar. So, what is the theta here? Theta is the angle between the length and the magnetic field. So, if the electron will be moving in this direction with a velocity Vd, so this angle also is equal to what? Theta. So, I extended that formula as dF bar is equal to dF bar. Substitute the value of dq from this equation. NaDl into E. So, this value is equal to VdB sin theta. Okay. So just simply I substituted the value of dq here. Okay. So this value is equal to dF bar is equal to, I will write as NeaVd B into dl into sin theta. NeaVd B into dl into sin theta. Just I interchanges the value. So NeaVd into B into dl sin theta. Equation number 2. Now, coming to the current electricity, while we are discussing about the drift velocity concept, we wrote a formula between current and drift velocity, the relation between the current and drift velocity. So we know that current I is equal to NeaVd. What formula we know? current I is equal to what? NeAVD, where N is indicating what? Number of free electrons present per unit volume, E is indicating the magnitude of the charge, Vd is indicating what? Drift velocity, A is indicating what? Area of cross section. Now, substitute this value in the above equation. So, we will get dF bar is equal to, or dF magnitude, dF is equal to, in the place of NeAVD, I will write I. So, I is the magnitude of the current. Next, B, magnitude of the field intensity will be constant, and dl is a what? Small element, So, dF is equal to what you got? dF is equal to what you got? I into B into dl sin theta. So, dF is indicating what? Amount of the force which is acting on the small element, So, when you know the small value, for calculating the entire force acting along the total length of the conductor, simply we go through the integration. So, the net force will be given by integral dF. Net force will be given by what? Integral dF. So, which is equal to integral I into B into dl sin theta. So, in generally the integration will be doing for only the variables. Here, the magnitude of the current will be constant, magnitude of the field intensity is also constant, theta is also constant. So, I will write I into B into sin theta integral dl. So, integral dl is giving what? Total length of the conductor. Integral dl is giving what? Total length of the conductor. Therefore, F is equal to IB sin theta into L, or the general formula will be given by F is equal to Bill sin theta. F is equal to what? Bill sin theta. This is a very important formula for calculating the amount of the force which is acting along the length of the conductor whenever they will be placed in the uniform magnetic field. What is the required formula? F is equal to what? BIL sin theta. F is equal to what? BIL sin theta. Now, how can we write this formula in the vector notation? Let's see. See here. F is equal to what we got here? F is equal to BIL sin theta. F is equal to what? BIL sin theta. So here, what are the vector quantities? First we have to identify. F is a vector quantity. Magnetic field is a vector quantity. Length of the conductor is also taken as the vector here. Length of the conductor is also what we have to take as a vector. So, current is a vector or scalar? Current is a scalar quantity. So, this value can be written as F is equal to I into BL sin theta. F is equal to what? I into what? BL sin theta. So, in the vector notation, I will write F bar is equal to I into L bar cross B bar. F bar is equal to what? I into L bar cross B bar. This is a vector representation of force acting on a current carrying wire whenever it is placed in the uniform magnetic field. Now, here also some cases are there. We will see the cases. Case 1. If theta is equal to 0. What I told that theta here? Theta is indicating the angle between. Theta is the what? Theta is the angle between L bar and B bar. Theta is indicating what? Angle between the length of the conductor as well as the magnetic field direction. So, here theta is equal to 0 means the conductor will be aligned, the current carrying conductor will be aligned in the direction of the magnetic field, that is, the conductor is aligned in the direction of in the direction of the magnetic field. The conductor will be aligned in the direction of the magnetic field. See. So I consider the uniform magnetic field. I consider the uniform magnetic field. We know the properties of the lines of force, what we studied in the electric field charges. When you consider the uniform electric field, the lines of force will be the straight lines and they will be what? Equispaced. So, this is the direction of the magnetic field. This is the direction of the magnetic field. What we are saying that whenever the theta is equal to 0, whenever the theta is equal to 0, the conductor should be aligned in the direction of the magnetic field. So, I consider, so this is the conductor. So here the conductor AB is aligned in the direction of the magnetic field. I is the current passing through the conductor. In this case, what about the force? What about the force? So coming to here, F is equal to, what is the formula we have to write? F is equal to Bill sin theta. F is equal to what? Bill sin theta. So theta value is equal to what? 0. If theta value is equal to 0, force is also is equal to 0. If theta value is equal to 0, sin 0 is equal to what? 0. If sin theta value is equal to 0, the force experienced by the current carrying wire will be is equal to what? 0. Will be is equal to what? 0. So, whenever the conductor is aligned in the direction of the magnetic field, it does not experience any external force. Now, case 2. So, in this case, I consider theta is equal to 180 degrees. Theta is equal to what? 180 degrees. Theta is equal to 0 means what? The conductor will be aligned in the direction of the magnetic field. So, here theta is equal to 0 means what? 180 means what? Theta is equal to what? 180. So, here the conductor will be placed. So, this is the conductor AB. And the direction of the flow of the current is opposite to the direction of the magnetic field. So, AB conductor, the direction of the conductor is from where to where? A to B, and the magnetic field is acting towards the right, and the direction of the flow of the current is acting towards left. In this case also, sin 180 is equal to what? 0. Sin 180 is equal to what? 0. That means the conductor will be aligned anti-parallel to the direction of the magnetic field. If sin 180 is equal to 0 means what? Force is also is equal to 0. Force also is equal to what? 0. That means in which cases the current carrying conductor does not experience any magnetic force means either it will be aligned in the direction of the magnetic field or it will be aligned opposite to the direction of the magnetic field. In these two cases, the conductor should not be experiencing any magnetic force. Now, coming to the case 3. So, this is the direction of the magnetic field, and the conductor will be placed like this, and the current direction will be perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. In case 3, what we assume? The direction of flow of the current, is perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. So, what is the angle between the length of the conductor as well as magnetic field? Here theta value is equal to 90 degrees. So, in the case 3, what is the angle between the magnetic field as well as L bar? So, theta value is equal to what? 90 degrees. Whenever theta is equal to 90, sin 90 is equal to 1. According to that formula, the force will becomes a maximum. So, when the current carrying conductor will be experiencing the maximum force is when the conductor is aligned, when the conductor is aligned perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field, perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. In that case, the given conductor experiences the maximum force. So these are the different cases of force experienced by the current carrying wire, which is placed in the uniform magnetic field. So what formula we have to remember? So this is the magnitude, F is equal to Bill sin theta, and this is the vector notation, F bar is equal to what? I into L bar across B bar. This is a very important question in the board examination. So F bar is equal to what? I into L bar across B bar. The next topic is Fleming's left hand rule. Fleming's left hand rule. So why we are using this Fleming's left hand rule? What is the purpose of Fleming's left hand rule? Just now only we finish the force acting on current carrying conductor, which is placed in the uniform magnetic field, that is given by F bar is equal to I into L bar across B bar. F bar is equal to what? I into L bar across B bar. So F bar is a what? The force acting on the conductor. It is the vector quantity to find the direction of the force, which is experienced by the current carrying wire, which is placed in the uniform magnetic field. For that purpose we are using Fleming's left hand rule. Once again, what is the use of Fleming left hand rule? Is the Fleming left hand rule will be giving the direction of the force which is experienced by the current carrying wire, which was placed in the uniform magnetic field. So according to the Fleming's left hand rule, if you stretch your left hand, this is the thumb, this is the forefinger, this is the central finger. Thumb, forefinger and central finger. So the thumb represents direction of the force. Thumb is representing what? Direction of the force. According to the Fleming's left hand rule, the thumb is representing what? Direction of the force. Next, forefinger. So forefinger is representing direction of the magnetic field. So the thumb is representing what? Direction of the force, and forefinger is representing what? Direction of the magnetic field. And the central finger is indicating the direction of the current. The central finger is indicating what? Either direction of the current or direction of motion of positive charge. So the central finger is indicating what? Very, very important. The central finger is indicating the either it is representing the direction of the current or the direction of the motion of the which type of charged particle? Only the positive charged particle. The central finger is representing what? Either direction of the current or direction of the motion of the positive charged particle. So this is given by the Fleming's left hand rule. So what is the need of the Fleming's left hand rule? By using the Fleming's left hand rule, we have to find the direction of the force, which is experienced by the current carrying wire, which was placed in the given magnetic field. So what it tells? According to the Fleming's left hand rule, the thumb is representing the direction of the force, and the forefinger is indicating what? Forefinger is indicating what? Direction of the magnetic field, and the central finger is indicating the either direction of the current or the direction of the motion of the positive charge. So this is about Fleming's left hand rule. Thank you.